Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So I've been making progress on the tank, just kind of general progress. There's no one big topic for this video, but I'm going to start out with some stuff that I meant to mention last video but forgot about, and that's how I actually made the sprockets themselves. The sprockets back there that drive the tracks, and how I got the correct spacing for this. This was the template I made, and how I actually got this template properly. So what I did was I got some of the leftover track pads here that were left over from making the tracks, and I cut them up into a bunch of little pieces like this. And then I also cut a strip of the conveyor belt, as you see. And then this is the jig that I showed you like a while ago that I used for making the tracks and to get the correct spacing between each track pad. And so I just used this to make a little strip like that. And then what I did with this was I bent this back around and put it back in a jig like this. Like that. And then I could attach it, I could like link it together into a full circle and still have the right spacing there. And I took it, this is just put together with like a nail gun, because it's just like a quick little thing. But I took it apart, but this is how I did it. And so that gave me a full circle of the shape of the sprockets and how the teething needed to be spaced. But the problem still was that I had to trace this. But this is really flexible, and this won't stay a perfect circle as I'm tracing it, because it'll move and stuff. So what I made was this piece. This is just a piece of like 1/2-inch foam insulation, and I traced a circle around there, and I sanded it little by little to get the correct size to go on the inside of here. To go something like that. And this was really tight in there as when I did it, because this can't be looser, then you're not gonna keep a circle, and it won't do anything for you anyways. So this was in there like that, and that kept this as a circle, so that I could go around and trace it without it moving. Then after I traced it, I drew the teeth on there, and I just sanded the teeth down to the correct size. I did like a trial run of how this would engage the teeth as it goes along and that kind of stuff. And then, so after I made this, I could just, I had that big sheet of the high density polyethylene that I made the sprockets out of, and I could just stick this on there with some double-sided tape, cut it with the bandsaw to roughly the same size, roughly close to the lines or anything, because I didn't want to cut into this. And then I just used the router to go along and make to follow this template perfectly around there. And then, but the router can't get in the corners, so then after I did that, I just went into the corners with a regular file to complete it out. And then and so that's this over here. And then also, as you can see, I attach this back together. Well, when I showed you last video, it was just the parts kind of sitting on there. It wasn't all fixed together or anything. So this is how I fixed it together. I said I was gonna weld everything together, and I ended up welding most of it together. What I welded was just the two plates here, this one to the coupler here, and this one to the 1-inch shaft that comes out. I was going to weld the coupler to this rod that comes out, but I really didn't need it. I have like a 2.5, 3-inch keyway in there to hold this in place, and a set screw to hold that in, 2 set screws to hold those in. So I think that should be fine. I don't need to really weld this. That's not really necessary. And I also got these bolted on there and everything. And how I got what I did was I put the track on there, like I have that track just kind of sitting on there right now, and I put the track on there to get the spacing right. Because if these aren't aligned, then that's no good. You have to redo it. So I put the track on there to get it aligned properly, then marked where to drill the holes and everything bolted on, and it worked out nicely. And so then what I did today, I did today actually, was I made a support here. Because when this is running, there's going to be a lot of force pulling this whole thing into the, to the center of the tank. With the track will be pulling it in. But so what I did to take that force was I made a like bracket type thing here. And basically what this just is there's a pillow block bearing right here. It's not on there right now, but imagine it's right there. A piece of angle iron here, and then just a couple pieces of rebar, one going down to the bottom of the frame, one going across to take this kind of to fix it. And then that just reminded me, I made this little tool here to get in. There's two set screws. There's two set screws on the shaft coupler right here. One is right there, you can see it. So that's easy to get to. But there's another one that holds the keyway on the motor itself. And that's way back in here. So I made this tool right here. This is just an Allen wrench on a longer piece, just tack welded together and whatnot, so I can get back in there and take out that set screw. Just like that. See? Just this little thing that's back in there. So that's it for the drive sprockets. The drive sprockets are done right now, unless I come across any problems, which I won't. Won't come across any problems. But they're done now. Next is, what's next? Oh yeah, the hydraulic reservoir I've also been working on. I finally got all the leaks patched up. Here's the top's not on. It's like that. I got all the leaks patched up. It doesn't leak anymore. What I did for that was I just filled it with water and then checked for the leaks, welded them up, filled it with water again, checked for more leaks, welded it up, and repeat the process till I got it watertight. And then I've been working on the lid here too. I decided that what I wanted to do was have, instead of just like a single cap on there to fill hydraulic fluid and whatnot, I wanted an access panel so I could actually get inside if I had to clean it out or do anything to it. So what I did was I cut out this big rectangular hole in the top there, drilled a whole bunch of holes around it. I welded you can see I welded 1/4 inch nuts all the way around the edge, which correspond, and the holes going through there like that, so you can screw into them, which correspond to the holes in this top plate that I made that goes on like that. And then there'll be a seal around here, like between these two plates, and these are just all the screws in there to screw that on. And I'll put the cap, there'll be a cap to fill it up on this plate. I just haven't gotten to that yet. And then, alright, so then the last thing I want to mention that I've also been doing is I made a mounting plate to mount the pump onto. This is the pump right here. As you can see, I showed you in other videos. This is the pump that'll be driven by the engine that pumps the hydraulic fluid throughout the system. And what I did was I made this plate. This is a piece of 1/4 inch plate. Drilled a hole through here to allow for the shaft on the pump, and the pump, like the hydraulic motors that I have up there, has this raised edge right there. This raised edge. So what I had to do for that was, in the plate, make this recessed to account for that. I just made this on the lathe with the 4-jaw chuck. This spins around and around, and I can take that out little by little. And drilled the holes for the mounting bolts. So this goes right on there like that. Fold it on, everything's nice and happy. And I still need to make I'll still have to make some kind of bracket that this will be mounted to the bottom like this, behind the engine. So I need to make something to actually hold it up off the bottom. And then as well as get pieces that I need, pulleys and stuff, to actually run this, to attach this to the engine. So it'll actually run it. Oh yeah, and then I forgot to mention, I showed you how I made those support things, the support for the back sprocket. I did a similar thing up here with the front idler wheel. As you can see, very similar. Has a piece of rebar going straight out, one going back, one going down to give it support there. But the thing with this one is this has to be adjustable, because this has to move back and forth to adjust the tension on the track. I showed you in other videos that I had this milled out here. I already made that, so that this can go in there and you can bolt that on there at any of these locations. So this also had to be adjustable. And what I did for this is just 5/8 all thread. So I welded a 5/8 bolt nut onto the end of this, which I had drilled out to 5/8 of an inch, which would give room to clear the threads. So it's not really a nut anymore. It's just a like washer bushing type thing. And then this goes on here. That goes on there. And then there's this 2 nuts, one on each side of here, that you put on there to tighten this up. Put the you can tighten up here too. Put the nut on the other side of there, and now that's nice and secure, because like the back of it there's a lot of force that's going to be wanting to pull this back. The track will be wanting to pull this back into like the center of the tank, which I don't want to happen. So this is nice and sturdy. Pushing on it all day long. I shouldn't go anywhere. And so that's pretty much it for now. The progress has been coming along good. I still haven't run into any major problems, which has been nice. And sometime pretty soon I'll get around to attaching the track together, actually linking it together and all that. And I'll probably do a video on that. And like I mentioned, setting up the pump, finish mounting the pump, and then figure out how I'm going to have the engine drive the pump. And then, so link the track together, set up the pump, and then get a bunch of hydraulic hoses, and then run it around. So that's pretty much the general plan for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. And if you're just coming across this channel, this is one video in a longer series showing the construction of my 30% scale ISU-152, a Soviet World War II era tank destroyer. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos about the tank and other cool stuff.